Okay, let's dive in. The NFL draft. Done. But the quarterback talk, that's definitely just getting started, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And there's this interesting bit floating around from ESPN's Dan Orlovsky talking to Rich Eisen.
Right, on the Rich Eisen show. About Shedeur Sanders maybe being like, the Browns' future starter. It caught my eye.
Exactly. It's more than just, immediate post-draft hot takes. There are layers here about strategy, about how the Browns might be thinking.
So that's what we're digging into today. We've got these clips, these ideas from that YouTube video, and we want to really unpack what Orlovsky's saying about Cleveland's QB room.
And not just the Browns, but what it signals for rookie quarterbacks maybe starting games across the league next season in 2025.
Yeah, cutting through the noise, what are the actual viewpoints here? What's the potential plan? So Orlovsky's initial take on the Browns, what's the gist?
Well, he paints this picture where maybe Joe Flacco starts things off, the veteran hand, maybe even week one start.
Okay, the known quantity.
Right. And then you've got this real competition brewing behind him. You've got the two rookies they drafted and Kenny Pickett, who they traded for.
So Flacco holds the fort while the others battle. What's the thinking behind that, according to Orlovsky? Especially with them trading out of that number 2 pick.
Yeah, he connects those dots, suggests maybe, just maybe, they're really looking ahead to the 2026 draft for, like, the guy, a top QB.
Ah, so this year is more about, what? Finding value later.
Potentially.
Yeah.
He throws out the idea of trying to find, the next Brock Purdy or Dak Prescott, someone you snag later in the draft who turns out to be a starter.
Right, late round steal.
Kind of seal a starter, yeah. And then you still have that high pick in 2026 maybe to build this monster roster around whoever emerges.
Interesting strategy. But finding a Purdy or a Dak, that's not exactly easy, is it? What's the track record there?
Well, that's the thing. Historically, it's really, really tough. I mean, Purdy and Prescott, they get mentioned because they're such outliers.
Yeah.
It's rare. So it feels maybe a bit more like a hope than a high probability plan.
Puts a ton of pressure on your scouts, too. And you need patience.
Okay, so that's Orlovsky's potential scenario. But Rich Eisen, he pushed back a bit, didn't he? Particularly on Kenny Pickett's role in all this.
He did. He basically asked, what's the point of keeping Pickett around if your main goal becomes developing these rookies for the future?
Yeah, like, does Pickett just become collateral damage? Or an obstacle?
It highlights that classic tension, doesn't it? Short-term versus long-term.
Yeah.
The argument for Pickett, as Eisen kind of lays it out, it seems to be about just, winning some games now. Stability.
The worry is...
The worry, I think, is that if you're carrying Flacco and 2 rookies you want to see, does the 2025 season just become one long tryout camp for 2026? Are you really competing?
And Eisen brought up Myles Garrett, too, right? Like, trading for Pickett doesn't automatically mean your star defensive player is thrilled if the plan feels like it's punting on this season. That's a huge point. You got to keep your stars happy, invested, especially someone like Garrett. It's a balancing act.
Plus, the idea that Pickett could maybe become trade bait later, that adds another wrinkle.
For sure. If one of the rookies flashes or if they just decide to go another way, Pickett could definitely have value elsewhere. Makes their decision calculus even more complex.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit. Eisen shifts the conversation towards the whole league, asking Orlovsky about rookie QBs drafted in this class, the 2025 class. How many does he actually see starting a game next season?
Yeah, good question. Orlovsky's first guess was maybe 2.
Just 2. Who did he name?
He mentioned Cam Ward and Tyler Van Dyke specifically, which, feels reasonable. Lots drafted, few start right away.
And he didn't stop there, did he? The number went up.
It did. As they talked, he sort of revised it. He added Jackson Dart into the mix, thinking Dart might get some snaps maybe later in the season.
Okay, so Ward, Van Dyke, Dart, that's 3. Did he land on a final number?
Yeah, he eventually settled on 4. He thinks 4 rookie QBs from this draft class could start at least one game in 2025.
4. And who's the 4th one in his prediction?
He thinks Cam Ward could start, like, every game he's healthy. Van Dyke starting a good number. Dart gets in there eventually. And the 4th, one of the Cleveland Browns rookies.
Ah, back to Cleveland. So either Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders.
That's pretty bold. How did Orlovsky talk about those two? Are they seen differently?
Definitely. He acknowledged Gabriel as, a really good college player, someone solid. Maybe a team could fall in love with his game tape and production.
Okay. Dependable college guy. And Sanders.
With Sanders, Orlovsky seems to see more raw talent. a higher ceiling, potentially. He was careful to say, maybe not a consensus top 5 pick for NFL scouts, but the underlying ability. He thinks it's definitely there.
So you've got Pickett, the trade acquisition, Flacco, the veteran, Gabriel, the solid college producer, and Sanders, the high upside talent. That is an interesting QB room, as Orlovsky put it. Yeah, interesting is one word for it. Makes for a fascinating competition. And the idea that one of those rookies, Gabriel or Sanders, actually starts a game, it feels plausible within Orlovsky's logic.
Does he lean towards one of them getting snaps over the other?
He seemed to lean a bit towards Sanders, maybe if Sanders takes it all the right way, uses any draft slide or whatever as fuel, adopts that prove them wrong mentality.
Right, the chip on the shoulder angle.
Exactly. But then again, they made a great point about Gabriel, too.
Which was?
He was one of only 2 QBs to beat the national champs last year. The only other guy was a walk-on. So Gabriel has shown he can step up and win big games against top competition. You can't ignore that.
Good point. Proven winner in college. Did Orlovsky offer any kind of pro comparison for Gabriel? How might his career path look?
He did mention one. He suggested Gabriel could potentially carve out a career similar to Chase Daniel.
Oh, okay. Long-term, reliable backup.
Yeah.
Valuable guy to have around.
Precisely. So maybe different paths. Sanders might be shooting for that star potential, while Gabriel could become that really solid, dependable number 2 for a long time. Both valuable, but different roles.
So wrapping this up, we've looked at the Browns' potential QB juggling act. Maybe Flacco starts, rookies develop, Pickett's future is uncertain, all possibly with an eye on 2026.
Right, that complex mix of present needs and future planning.
And we've seen the debate around Pickett, the win now versus develop later tension.
The core dilemma teams always face.
And then zooming out, the prediction that maybe 4 rookies, including one in Cleveland, could actually start games in 2025. It suggests a potentially significant influx of young QBs getting early chances.
Yeah, it's a lot of moving parts. And honestly, despite all the analysis, so much is just uncertain right now. Speculation is fun, but training camp, the preseason, that's where we'll really start to see things shake out.
Absolutely. Performance on the field is the ultimate decider.
For the Browns, for all these teams with rookie QBs, the real answers won't come until the pads are on.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener. When you think about building a team, especially around that all-important quarterback position, what do you weigh more heavily? Is it going for the immediate wins, maybe with a steady veteran hand? Or do you gamble on the higher ceiling, the unknown potential of a rookie, hoping for that long-term franchise guy?
That risk versus reward.
Exactly. This whole Brown situation and the wider discussion about how many rookies might play this year, it really throws that fundamental question into sharp relief, doesn't it? What does a team truly value most?